So with that, I suppose we move on to our last segment just before the light escapes us entirely. There's Rugby News of the Week, which is our wrap-up section for every podcast, and just going to run through a bit of what's been making headlines in the rugby world. I see top of the bills we have found out that Josh Strauss is returning to the Bulls post-World Cup, to return to South Africa to play for the Bulls. I don't know if he played for the Bulls before, but that means he's basically effectively ending his Scotland career.
Yeah, that's something that wasn't reported, but that I just assumed.
It might not be the case, He might still be eligible. I've seen that before.
Oh no, he is still eligible, but it's just such a curious case study and such a, to be honest, a bastardization of the idea of the residency rule, which has now been vindicated. But to go and play your club trade at Glasgow for a few years, decide to be Scottish in a rugby context, instantly leave Scotland and play in Sale, and then go back home to South Africa where you're really from and play your domestic trade there. I mean, is he going to play Super Rugby and then leave in February to play the Six Nations in Scotland? That doesn't seem likely.
Yeah.
I think that he's saying, I'm Scotland for the World Cup. I'm Scottish for the World Cup, and then moving on. But yeah, his has been a curious case study. That said, a phenomenal rugby player
and a great servant to Scotland.
Everything to Scotland,
and even Glasgow while he was there. He's awesome. I've always admired Josh Strauss and wish him well. He might do you know what? He might be exactly what that Bulls side need in terms of a bit of heft and a bit of grunt, but also a bit of getting stuck in and not being lazy on the pitch, which is one thing he's never has been. He's probably not the biggest, strongest guy playing in that position, but he works.
He'll make his tackles, he'll maintain his line speed for the game. He'll constantly be a nuisance at the breakdown. And when he gets the opportunities to carry, he'll carry well.
We were seeing him get a bit tired in Scotland's Six Nations campaign purely because he was one of the last men standing who had to do a lot of work against some big physical sides who were testing that area specifically over and over again. So by the 60th minute mark, we were seeing a very tired Josh Strauss, but still getting stuck in and trying to do the work.
But that sort of Bulls dynamic that we associate with them that can sometimes leak into the Springboks of just taking some plays off and being
just
loose.
being head in the clouds for a second.
It's not actually in Josh's DNA.
Doesn't seem to be. No, so it's whether he's can overtake the Bulls. Effect, will the Bulls
morph him into something terrible?
No, I doubt it. But no, I think that is a good signing for the Bulls, and he'll be glad to go home, I'd imagine, after quite a successful European campaign, and he's been an awesome player, great value in the Champions Cup and the Pro 14 and now the Premiership as well for the last year as well. He's seen a lot of European rugby. He'll come back a much more seasoned veteran.
Certainly from his perspective it's been a fine career, and he'll look to see it off I would suspect see it off in style at the World Cup. So looking forward to that. The next bit of news is massive news that has been, the only thing that's been talked about in New Zealand.
Beauden to the Blues.
Beauden to the Blues.
Beauden to the Blues. Yeah.
Apparently, I gotta be honest with you, I just don't know the specifics of how this came about. I just read that it could happen, and then it did happen. And I'm
do they really want the Blues to be good again? Is that what it is?
I think that might be it. I think they might. I think there's something to be had in a good Blues team financially. Like you have the potential for Eden Park to get actual attendances in it. And to be fair to the Blues, on the first day of the season when they play,
so nearly
they get good big crowds.
They do
on the first day of the season, and then as it goes, they sort of empty slowly. As everybody starts to realise that it isn't their year again.
Yeah. Well, whereas with Beauden and maybe Nanu, although will Nanu stick around post World Cup?
I don't know. Yeah. Apparently, they're lobbying Geordie Barrett to come and join his brother.
That's so funny. And bring the other Barrett. Get all the Barretts.
There was a heartfelt message of goodbye from TJ. Because him and Bodie had the most starts together from anyone in Hurricanes history. They might have both had the most starts individually as well as together.
And now TJ's going to take that off Bodie once as soon as
but the band is broken up, and what a band it was from an attacking rugby perspective.
Some
the
of the
tries those boys scored together.
Packages from the last few years are heftily featuring those two boys in more than just a cameo role. They're stars. And so it's a bit of a coup for the Blues, really. It's a great signing. Because they have always been
guts the Canes.
It does gut the Canes a bit, and having gutted the Chiefs the last couple of years, we'll see the Canes suffer.
He's such a Canes man.
He's very just emblematic of how they play the game as well, with that speed and width that kind of goes with them, and it's sometimes a little bit incomprehensible when it comes up
flat to the line. It's chaotic, it's always quick, and it's attack, and TJ loves it and Bodie loves it, and it works well with Laumape. They've got a really cool vibe going on with that backline, and if anything it was just their pack needed bolstering to compete. And now that's kind of gone, and he's going into a Blues environment that's God knows what.
Well, it's certainly not a winning culture that he's inheriting in that place. Indeed. He has work to do in terms of galvanising that squad, which is definitely the role he's there to do. He's kind of to come in to right the ship a little bit and just change things fundamentally from what they're doing. But it'll be interesting. Anyway, it'll make for interesting dynamics this year. Yeah, it'll definitely make for a full stadium on day one for the Blues again.
Yeah, or near enough. They'll get
welcome Bodie signs everywhere.
They'll get a big crowd in Eden Park. He's used to playing in Eden Park anyway.
True. Yeah, but it was kind of surprising, even though we did hear that rumor a few weeks ago. I was kind of surprised to hear that happened, and it is a little sad, and I do feel bad for TJ and all.
Yeah, but, indeed, I agree.
That being said, the Blues fans are probably. Like they've needed something to cheer about this year, so now they have Beauden Barrett, then they'll have him next year.
2 Steps Rugby is a happy man.
I'd say he is. So in other news then, just in terms of squad additions to the squad, I know England have bolstered their squad. Just one thing on Ireland is that Will Addison is back from injury and now back into the Ireland squad, which he's always been part of Joe's plans, partly anyway. On the
I think it has to be as fullback cover.
It is. Oh, I'm sure that's what it is. Like he's not really a viable 13.
It means that there's going to be no Joey at 15, which we've been desperately lobbying for because it makes so much damn sense. It hurts.
He is, however, more of a playmaker than even Rob is. Like he's more in that mould.
Yeah, it's refreshing that he's the backup and not Henshaw or Haley.
Yes. He's a better option than both of those two. From 15 for sure. With Carney probably still being the incumbent. But that's not surprising. England, however, have added a fair few additions to their squad. It bolstered a lot of them. It got up to 40 or something?
It's gone up massive.
And you were welcome to see the inclusions of Ollie Thorley and even little Marcus Smith, even if he's not ultimately to feature in the World Cup. It's good exposure for him, young man, young Quinn.
No, I think that these additions make their squad way better. Ollie Thorley is not to be held on the periphery holding tackle bags and then cut from the squad. That guy has to go to the World Cup. If he's uncapped in a month's time, Eddie Jones should be blooming sacked before the tournament. He is such a potential World Cup bolster. It's not every year that you have like this world class winger who pops up the season of a World Cup, lights up club rugby, is very difficult to tackle, has just electric speed, has X factor, and the All Blacks respect it. They've seen it in Sever Reese. They saw it in Nahe Milner-Scudder 4 years ago, and they thought, throw this guy in here, let's see what he can do at test level. And Eddie Jones has to do that with Thorley because the kid is a star. To watch his highlights for Gloucester this year have been insane. Absolutely glad to see him in there, get him on the rugby pitch. That really makes them better. And Marcus Smith, very quality little. I think
he'd be more likely to be doing that tackle bag row you're describing, but it's good to get him in there. He's only young yet.
You never know with injuries.
It's true. He may need to be called upon yet, so that makes a lot of sense. What doesn't make a lot of sense is the fact that Mike Brown is there and Alex Goode is not still. And actually, you were even pointing out to me that, talking about the Saris should be littering that thing. We'd mentioned Tompkins as a more viable option than Ben Teo, which I think he is. But similarly,
Lazowski's the guy we missed of all the Saracens, and he's just another beautiful footballer who has been in England squads before. So those two omissions, I genuinely don't know what Eddie Jones's problem with Alex Goode is.
Maybe it's the 3-day benders.
I think he has a problem with him.
He must do.
It's just this is just wrong. But
he's not picking him no matter what. Seemingly, he's just not going to be pick him. Eddie Jones's team.
They're going to have an injury crisis at fullback. And I don't know whose phone is going to ring. Is Ashton in the squad?
Ashton.
Well, Ashton's in the squad, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, but it'll be Elliot Daly or Ashton, and now Mike Brown.
Anthony Watson will come behind Mike Brown. They just won't give the best fullback in Europe a chance to play in the World Cup. And
which is a bit
make
mental.
of that what you will. I think
it's silly.
I think their mistakes are going to come back to haunt them. I can't see them winning the World Cup, making this many mistakes.
Yeah,
I said as much before the Six Nations, and then took a lot of cop for it after the England match.
After the Ireland
England match.
Which
on the opening day, I was like, England, they're getting so much wrong. I said I don't see them beating Ireland, and then they
beat Ireland. Yeah,
they exposed Ireland's holes and which have
which
yet to be sealed. But I was right in the sense that their consistent mistake making in terms of their selection policy and other things that they do did come back and haunt them, and they ended up dropping points, I guess you'd say, against Scotland and losing against Wales and not being in the reckoning for the title.
Yeah.
So
they're shooting themselves in the foot, it seems like, because they have all the tools there and they're just refusing to use them.
Yeah.
And yet the European Player of the Year is a guaranteed starter in whatever team he's from, or whatever country he's from. Usually,
that's what you think.
And that's what you think, and it's just wrong-headed. And the lack of classy champion Saris in it, like there are still obviously some of them, but
listen, and as I said it when they named the squad originally, and this squad that he's named is stronger than it for the inclusion of Thorley and Smith. But there's no question that squad is good enough to win a World Cup, even the one that Eddie Jones has named, with all the omissions. But I think the omissions themselves and the inclusion of guys like Bentillo and other things are an indication of some poor thinking. And what's more, I think little things like the Kyle Sinclair issue and a few other glaring problems that aren't being solved will come and bite them. But the talent is there. You never know. It could click. You never know. Never know. They're as good. Like, their back is unreal.
It's true. It's true. So they'll always
be. Pola and Maro Itoje can win a World Cup by themselves.
They'll always be elite enough to compete with the very, very best. But you wonder, will it come unstuck, and will they rue some of these things? Will Kyle Sinclair give away 3 penalties in a row in a quarterfinal?
That's all it takes. That's the thing in these quarterfinals. No matter how good your team is, if basic unforced errors like that happen, that's all it takes. Those are the margins, and that's why leaving a guy like Goode out, bringing guys like Teo and Sinclair in, that can hurt you.
Can do.
So that's it. I'm very pessimistic about England. I always get very hyped about England. I like to think I'm fair. It's not a partisan thing. I know I'm wearing the green jersey. I rant and rave about Saracens. I'm in love with them, and everyone around me is.
We should see more of them in the England jersey.
Everyone around me thinks I'm crazy in Dublin for not hating Saracens, but I don't. I can't. They're too damn good. But England just Eddie Jones's England frustrate me because they don't pick their best team ever.
They've yet to. They have actually yet to pick their best 15. As for what we reckon, like we were even in last couple of years going like, where's Brad Barrett in all this? Because he's just been captain fantastic for Saris.
Thankfully, Manu Tuilagi came back and they fixed their centre problem without him.
Yes,
but while Tuilagi was gone and Brad Barrett was captaining Saracens and they were picking nonsense in their centre, it was another.
You're scratching your head, going like, "Well, wait a minute, what?"
I don't know.
So that tends to be a recurring theme. It is born of the fact that they do just have so many players.
Totally.
That there's always these arguments, and I'm sure there's many people who will disagree with us on certain things. There'll be people calling for Teo and stuff, although I really don't.
No,
see
that's not the thing.
But
but there's genuine there's other guys who feel left out as well, like Danny Kerr, who his absence doesn't bother me as much as.
Especially mainly because of Ben Spencer's emergence, and I'm just like, I'm not worried now because I would trust that boy to do a job at pace for.
I think he's even got a chance of ousting Ben Youngs.
I think he's better than Ben Youngs, so that would be why. He's a Sari. He's a Sari.
Passing is
crisp and very quick as well. It wouldn't change your game plan at all. Switching him and Youngs. They're still going to be quick off 9, which is what this Eddie Jones England always are.
Yes,
they're trying to do so. I still expect that won't be a problem, even with the omission of Danny Kerr. Danny Kerr's box kicks are too loose.
That's true.
They're erratic.
I just don't know if Willie Hines is going to bring much. That's what people are giving out about.
I know. That's really the jersey that's been nicked from him potentially. But it's not as much of a weakness. Oh yes, you were saying three contenders in the under-20 World Championship contention, because the under-20 trophy is on currently, and is it Tonga and Portugal are
Tonga and Portugal are unbeaten so far. Portugal, as you said and not what I said, did show a bit of techers. They saw off Canada convincingly, where Tonga just struggled through Canada, so it's very interesting. Tonga are going to play Portugal for the right to play almost certainly, unless Kenya pull the mother and father whole shocks out the window, Japan, who I think might be my favourite to go through the whole thing. But the under-20 trophy, the final is going to be between probably Japan and one of Tonga and Portugal for the prize of playing in the big under-20 championship next year. That's just a cool thing that's going on.
A little separate side note in Tier 2 underage rugby, which is just good to see. The future is strong in places like Tonga and Portugal, and Japan,
always good to see the Tongans on form as well.
They're a big part. Like, as much as our love affair with Fiji as we had over the last few weeks, I still love all South Sea Islanders and the way they play. And Tonga have had great sides and wonderful players over the years, and it'd be nice to see some of those youngsters filter through and get nice and competitive again.
We had the Currie Cup kicking off. We had to issue a small correction here. We had been saying that the Jags were
Jags
the
15 but
the Jaguares 15 have actually been included in the second tier competition of the Currie Cup, where they're 2 games in and have put like 60 points on their respective opposition, with a bunch of guys who weren't even playing for the Jags, probably the same boys who were playing for Argentina 15 in the America's Cup earlier in the year. But they're having a fun time lighting it up in the second division, so for the right to be next year when they come up to play in the Currie Cup for real. And that'll be exciting, but it means that this time we still have our traditional Currie Cup. Like very, very core, stable teams. Western Province got it done against the Blue Bulls, 20 points to 5.
Solid
the
win.
Lions beat the Pumas 38-37.
What a cracker that must have been.
Decidedly Lions-esque performance. The Natal Sharks, my boys, got battered by the Grikas, having been gutted, I guess. Slightly shorn of their test players. But that was in Natal, wasn't it? That was in Natal.
That was in Durban Stadium. Oof. That's a bit of a shocker. It's good for the Grikas though.
It is good for the Grikas, but now the Sharks going to get the finger out and get themselves up that table.
Propping up the bottom of the table currently are your beloved Sharks.
They are indeed. But
it's the Lions and the Province sitting pretty atop with Western Province. They're on 5 points each, and then Western Province just behind them on 4. And the Pumas there on 2 points, must be bonus points, is it? And
yes,
2 losing bonus points, so that's all very interesting, and the Currie Cup rolls on. Always a good tournament, one of the most historic tournaments in the world. And
good seats,
again, still going strong in 2019.
Is buried behind the Rugby Championship, as it often
is. We'll be featuring it in our other news segment for the weeks to come. We won't really.
But hopefully we'll see a game or two. Certainly as we approach the business end of it, we might
have to check it out then.
See some consequential action.
100%.
Anyway, we're good.
I think that might be it.
We're done.
100%. Alright, just as the daylight has dwindled on us, and we're going to have to wrap it up. But that's us, folks, for this week.
Absolutely.
Enjoy the Rugby Championship this weekend, as I'm sure we will.
We will indeed.
Watch that, and then get back to us next week for more chat.
More chat about the rugby will be.
Thank you very much for watching that video. If it's your first time here, please leave a like and subscribe down below, and leave a comment as well if you enjoyed it, because we enjoyed the conversation.